Thank you for joining me. That didn't quite go as smoothly as I thought, but...
If you wanted to destroy one of the biggest tech channels on YouTube, you wouldn't need to delete the channel or make every viewer leave. You would only need to make people question why they trusted it in the first place. For more than a decade, Linus Tech Tapes looked like one of the safest bets on YouTube, turning PC parts, server racks, strange gadgets, and expensive products into entertainment. Eventually, it became more than a channel. It became a whole ecosystem of side channels, forums, live shows, merch, events, and a testing lab built to make the whole thing feel more legitimate. That kind of growth makes people think the hard part is over. Usually, that's when the trap starts. Once a creator becomes a business, the thing that made them likable starts fighting with the thing they built. Scrappy charm becomes process. Process becomes pressure. And pressure exposes every weak spot at the worst possible time. Move fast, publish fast, clean it up after. For years, that formula worked. Then the audience started paying attention. That is what makes this story so brutal. LTT is still massive. Their main channel still sits at around 17 million subscribers with roughly 10 billion views. This is not a sudden death. This is what happens when one of YouTube's most polished machines start looking human in all the wrong ways. If you were on YouTube in the 2010s, there's a good chance you watched LTT. Linus Sebastian built his audience by doing something a lot of tech channels struggle with. He made information fun.
For years now, I've dreamed of water cooling my gaming PC with my pool. And today, that dream becomes a reality!
The channel dates back to 2008, and over time, that single channel grew into Linus Media Group. LTT, Short Circuit, Tech Linked, Tech Quickie, the WAN Show, and testing-focused projects. The company describes LTT as a one-stop shop for tech enthusiasts, built on trust, transparency, integrity, and accurate information, delivered in entertaining ways. That is an amazing sales pitch, but it has also become a dangerous promise. When you're just a funny tech guy, viewers forgive rough edges. When you build an empire around authority and accuracy, every rough edge gets more expensive. By 2021 and 2022, Linus was openly pitching LTT Labs as part of the company's future.
We have shown you the lab, my master plan for revolutionizing the testing that backs all of our content.
Bigger facilities, better data, more testing, more credibility. The company was leveling up in the public eye. But the bigger your claim to authority gets, the more obvious your mistakes become. You can see one of these warning signs before the big 2023 blow-up. In 2022, the backpack warranty drama became one of those internet moments that sounds silly until you remember why people got mad. Viewers heard the "trust me bro" during a discussion about warranty expectations, and many did not like that joke.
All right, so the first thing I said was, warranty? What warranty? Effectively amounted to, trust me, bro. There was clearly a very, very negative interpretation of what I said. He's clearly a weasel, knows these things are going to fall apart, putting him out of business if he stands behind it, and in that case, good riddance. Also, no warranty it's illegal, it's anti-consumer. What an asshole, right? So that's a valid interpretation, quite frankly. I didn't word it very well.
LMG later formalized the warranty language, but the phrase stuck because it hit a nerve. LTT was starting to rely on trust it had already banked. In 2023, Linus announced he was stepping down as CEO and moving into the role of Chief Vision Officer.
Most successful companies eventually outgrow the leadership of their founders, and it looks like my time is now. Effective July 1st, 2023, after 10 wild and very eventful years, I will be stepping down as CEO of Linus Media Group, Creator Warehouse, and Floatplane Media.
Linus and Yvonne still retained full ownership. Linus said he had turned down a buyout offer valuing the company at over $100 million. On paper, it sounded mature. A founder realizing the company had gotten too big to run on instinct alone. Then August happened. Gamers Nexus uploaded: the problem with Linus Tech Tips: accuracy ethics, and responsibility. And that title alone landed like a brick. Their complaint wasn't simply that LTT had made mistakes. The accusation was that LTT had built a system where mistakes were normal.
It's simply that we believe LTT, or LMG, is rushing too much to hit arbitrary and largely self-imposed deadlines that are causing frequent and sometimes significant data errors and information errors.
Corrections were uneven.
Also, we're concerned about ethics issues regarding LMG's recent review of the Ponage mouse, where they failed to notice that there was protective tape over the Teflon feet to knock the friction coefficient of the mouse, followed up by a pseudo-correction wherein LMG fails to take full ownership of its mistake and instead blames the product for not hand-holding them through the process of removing said tape.
And the only thing that mattered was pumping out content, regardless of quality.
As shown in a recent LTT interview that it conducted with its own employees, where many of them stated concerns with content quality pertaining to restrictive time constraints.
Let's publish less videos. More time for projects would be good.
We never have time for retrospection.
I don't love that we have to release so many videos. I don't know what our current count is weekly, but I know it's very high. Very rarely am I particularly proud of a video I've worked on.
The example everyone remembers is Billet Labs. LTT reviewed a prototype water block using the wrong graphics card, which mattered because water blocks are GPU specifics.
In the video, the LTT team stuck this special 3090 Ti water block on an RTX 4090. The company did not tell LMG that it would be 4090 compatible. Water blocks have very specific tolerances and clearances for components, so any misalignment would cause poor contact to the GPU core.
Even after someone on camera suggests retesting with the correct card, Linus refused.
Well, we went for gold and we tried it with the 4090. The temperature results were bad. It was clear that it wasn't making perfect contact and we weren't getting the best possible results. What Adam asked me to do is if we could spend more time, put the 3090 Ti on it and get real results. And what I told him was no, nothing would have changed. Nothing that obeys the laws of physics would have changed the conclusion, which is that this is not a product to buy. I'm sorry. Like, it's a cool product, but it's a bad product.
It looks great.
Yeah, it looks super cool.
Are you just saying it's bad just purely because of the price?
It's bad because it makes absolutely no sense and nobody should buy it.
Then the prototype was later auctioned off at LTX without Billet Labs' consent, even though Linus had promised to return it.
Making matters worse, in conversations with Billet Labs, Gamers Nexus learned that the company asked for the prototype back on June 28th. This would allow them to send it out to other media or use it for further development. Linus Media Group agreed at least twice to return the product. The first time they agreed to send it back was June 30th. At LTX, Linus Media Group put the one-of-a-kind water block up for auction at its Extra Life auction event without the permission of Billet Labs. Billet did not learn of this until around August 11th, at which point it was told the block is gone.
The event was deadly because it fit the exact story critics were already forming. That too fast, too sloppy, too confident, too sure the audience would let it slide. Linus responded in writing, and the response made things way worse. He defended parts of the handling, arguing that retesting would not have changed the final recommendation, and pushed back on how the criticism was framed. LTT had been accused of acting too much like a machine, then answered like a machine, annoyed it got caught. And then another wave hit almost immediately. Former LMG employee Madison posted serious allegations about her time at the company, describing a hostile workplace and abusive treatment. LMG said the claims did not match Linus's recollection. Very quickly, the company was being described as being in crisis mode, with production paused while it worked on processes and dealt with the fallout. That pause might be the most revealing moment in LTT's history. Big channels do not stop the upload machine unless they absolutely have to. The algorithm does not care. Your reputation is melting. This wasn't just noisy internet drama. Something inside the operating system had broken. This was a big deal. To Linus Tech Tip's credit, the company didn't pretend none of this happened. On August 16th, 2023, they posted an apology video with Linus, the CEO, Terran Tong, and CFO WAN Show.
I've asked the team to unflinchingly address both the concerns that have been raised and how we intend to fix them. with the money we'll make from our sponsor.
Just kidding.
Hey, it's me. I'm Chief Vision Officer now, but realistically, I'm not going to be able to hide behind my recent demotion here. I was the one at the head of the company for each and every mistake that our community has rightly brought to our attention. And once again, I made things worse by allowing myself to respond emotionally. It's honestly really hard when people take an internal process error and then they run that all the way to Linus is a thief and wants to auction someone else's intellectual property to the highest bidder, or accuses me of trying to brush something under the rug just because I do think it's important to get all the details before declaring me to be a low-down liar, straight-up piece of We were slow shipping back the GPU that Billet Labs sent us. There's no way around it. That's our bad.
After that, LTT started publicly posting testing documentation and a video error handling standard operation procedure.
We put together a plan. It took longer than the week that we promised you, but the way that I see it, that's not a bug. That's a feature, and it underscores our new commitment to do whatever it takes to move beyond just entertainment to become the authoritative voice that you guys deserve and the one that we all want to be. We've created a clear rubric that defines error severity and prescribes the appropriate fix, which can range from a pinned comment to a full reshoot or even the outright cancellation of the video.
On paper, it looked like the setup for a redemption arc. A lot of long-time viewers felt the post-2023 channel had changed. You can see that debate on LTT's own forum. Some argued the new version felt more sterile and less magnetic. Others said the slower upload pace and visible corrections were a sign of maturity. That balance gets harder to maintain after a public trust failure. Once the audience asks, are these stats right? Or why does this feel defensive? Every awkward moment gets magnified.
With the money we'll make from our sponsor.
Just kidding.
The entertainment side feels less charming, the authority side feels less solid. And the numbers started hinting at that strain. Linus Sebastian himself acknowledged that the pressure is getting to him.
Overall, the channel's been very on the struggle bus lately, which Luke and I were talking about earlier. I reached out to YouTube about it because I was basically just like, hey, yeah, you know, I'm not going to be one of those guys that's all algorithm. But it does seem like there's been like a very dramatic shift. I do not remember the last time we uploaded a video and it got 350,000 views in the first day and a half.
I think that was mid to subpar performance in the house.
Oh yeah, that
if
was.
People want some scale.
Yeah, that was pretty catastrophic like 10 years ago.
In September 2025, he said the channel had been on the struggle bus lately and described some uploads doing around 350,000 views in the first day, compared with the normal 1.2 to 2 million just 1 month earlier. Other moments kept reminding viewers that the channel's relationship with the good platforms and its own audience had become more fragile. Even the Gamers Nexus story didn't fully stay buried. In January 2025, Gamers Nexus published a fresh response accusing him of mischaracterizing events and timelines.
Now we get into something important. As far as Linus's belief that we should have reached out to him first, and that not doing so somehow makes the 44 minutes of reporting any less valid, we don't have to reach out to corporations when we think there's a patterned behavior or that there may be a significant chance that they try to cover things up or prepare a pre-written response that could twist the narrative, and in this case, manipulate the audience. Linus willfully ignoring our valid criticisms of data accuracy and some of the ethical concerns, while then trying to manipulate the audience into viewing him as the victim, not just LMG. This was very, it was bizarre. This is why we don't reach out every time.
Linus addressed it again on the WAN Show.
You guys may remember another video Steve made about us back in August of 2023. But what you might have missed is that his treatment of us then was part of the same pattern of poor ethics and misrepresentation. For starters, he asserts, that the information presented in his The Problem with Linus Media Group video was already public knowledge. Some of it was. Some of it clearly wasn't. Billet Labs' representations of our private communication were not public knowledge. And as we demonstrated in our response, they were not provided in good faith or with the appropriate context. Had he reached out for clarification, I feel it would have been clear, both to himself and to his audience, that the events that led to the block being auctioned were an honest accident caused by a miscommunication. I think it also would have been obvious that any perception that I behaved like a thief or a liar is not supported by the facts. The whole thing just doesn't make any sense. If he reached out for comment and I actually responded in the manner that he alleges I might, with dishonesty or aggression, publishing that response, right? That would be great supporting material for his expose.
One of tech YouTube's biggest names was still dragging an old credibility feud behind it. Then there's the staff side. In early 2026, former employee Jake uploaded a video called Why I Left Linus Tech Tips, and the video exploded. The description framed it around nearly 10 years at the company, giving it an emotional weight before the details even started.
In the early years, it was amazing. Sure, there were challenges, but when every day is a new adventure, it's easy to excuse a bit of hardship given the thrill I got from it. Ultimately, it came to a head around feeling valued. After 3+ years of my total comp remaining effectively the same, while affordability was getting worse and worse, you kind of start thinking while you're working on your boss's third house if you're ever gonna be able to buy a house. So I started to take an earnest look at my worth, something I procrastinated for years and ignored, really. I explored the revenue that the videos I produced generated, I applied for and fielded a few job offers, and ultimately, LMG made the choice to not accept nor counter the amount I asked for, which it's perfectly within the right to do. The job market is one that's cutthroat by its very nature. And so, with the knowledge and skills I'd learned along the way, the support of my recently fired friends and my partner, and after just about giving my parents a heart attack in search of something better for my family, I quit.
It spread with a hit a nerve, bigger than LTT. Once your reputation depends on statements, investigations, policy documents, and corrections, emotional believability becomes a real threat. The Madison investigation shows the same problem from a different angle. In May 2024, LMG said a third-party investigation found that major allegations were not substantiated, though some onboarding and process issues were partially sustained. For some years, that's close to bugs. Either way, LTT had crossed a line where many viewers now associated the brand with investigations, HR language, and the workplace scrutiny. In 2026, LTT found a new way to make the audience uncomfortable: the jet. Linus revealed that he had bought a private jet, framing it partly as a work tool and partly as a ridiculous gaming jet project. The plane was presented less like a luxury purchase and more like a clever investment that would somehow cost him $0 in the long run. In a video, he called it girl math many times.
With a little bit of girl math, that again, girl math.
The argument seemed to be that because the jet could be used for content, business travel, and maybe sold later without a gigantic loss, the real cost was almost nothing. That to the viewers, that sounded insane. A private jet still needs pilots, fuel, maintenance, hangar space, insurance, and constant upkeep. So when the founder of a company already accused of being too corporate explains why a private jet is basically free, it feels extremely out of touch.
As for the justification, I like Warren Buffett's line, so I'm going to steal it. He called his first jet the Indefensible.
And what made it worse was that one example people focus on was not an urgent business trip or a once-in-a-lifetime filming opportunity. It was Linus using the jet for a private family vacation to Mexico.
Private jet travel for yourself or other employees instead of booking an airline ticket.
It's one of those things that I think would be kind of fun to experience once, but I don't want to be judgy, but I'm personally kind of opposed to the private air travel industry. I don't think it sends a good message. I don't think it's particularly helpful in a lot of ways. Obviously, it helps people save time. Other than that,
LTT could argue that the plane had business uses, content value, and long-term financial logic, but the audience saw it more simply. A rich business owner buying a jet because he can. Around the same time, another controversy hit the LPT subreddit. Linus was given moderator powers, supposedly for emergencies like doxing or serious threats when regular moderators were unavailable. But to skeptical viewers, that explanation did not matter much. Posts and comments involving the jet, including tracking of the jet, were banned from the subreddit officially. This was framed as a privacy and safety issue, but viewers saw it very differently. To them, it looked like Linus bought a private jet, got access to moderation tool, and decided the community suddenly become a lot less free.
So yeah, the goal is not to, be mean, but I'm also not going to claim that if I see someone who's a complete bad faith dum-dum, that they will continue to have posting privileges. So make of that what you will.
In the past, Linus had talked about Elon Musk's jet being tracked and seemed much more comfortable with a public flight tracking when it happened to someone else.
What we have talked on the show about before is Elon Jet, the Twitter account that used to track, well, Elon's jet, if you couldn't figure that out.
And there were other similar ones for other high-profile public figures using publicly available jet information to...
That's an important one, because it's not like this information is now gone because the Twitter account is gone.
No.
It's just not being automatically posted on Twitter. But like, it got that information from a public resource that anyone can access. But he tweeted on November 6, 2022, "My commitment to free speech extends even to not banning the account following my plane, even though that is a direct personal safety risk." He has now banned the account tracking his plane.
But when people started tracking his jet, the same kind of public information was treated like a dangerous lion. Nobody was allowed to even approach. That is the hidden cost of scale. Once you become an institution, viewers stop judging you like a creator and start judging you like a company. So, is LTT actually falling off? The honest answer, in my opinion, is uglier than yes or no. The channel is not disappearing. It's not going bankrupt. Linus is not gone. LMG still has multiple business lines, major sponsors, and more resilience than most any creator-run media company on Earth. If survival is the bar, LTT is clearly safe. But survival is not what built the legend. Dominance built the legend. Dominance is when the audience assumes your upload matters before they even click. It is when your weird side experiment still cruises past 1 million. Old LTT used to feel like that, almost by default. That's how a YouTube empire gets damaged. Not always through one scandal, not always through one enemy. Sometimes it happens because the empire becomes too big, too fast, and too dependent on trust it no longer automatically earns. Linus Tech Tapes spent years teaching the internet how to optimize everything. Better airflow, better cable management, better benchmarks. Somewhere along the way, that channel became a case study in what happens when your own system is optimized for output more than trust. LTT didn't stumble because it was lazy. The uploads got bigger, the team got bigger, the promises got bigger, and every time something went wrong, the audience saw more of the company and less of the guy they subscribed to 10 years ago. And what can I say? That's how you damage a YouTube empire from the inside. If you enjoyed this breakdown, leave a like, subscribe for more stories about creators, YouTube, War Thunder, anything. Let me know what you think in the comments, please. Is Linus really falling off, or is just what every massive YouTube channel eventually becomes at the end? Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you guys are the best. I love you. I'll see you around.